for this innovation. This deserves a huge round of applause for the team at Morgan Company there. They've certainly been at the forefront of bringing through innovative products in our capital markets, and this, as you will hear,
On behalf of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange Limited, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this listing ceremony for the Morgan & Company Multi-Sector Exchange Traded Fund, another homegrown ETF in our market. And we are truly excited that Morgan & Company has decided to add to that basket our first ever actively managed ETF. Pleased that as a market, we've managed to grow the ETF space using our own resources and skills. Other markets in Africa had to import ready-made ETFs from the JSE to kickstart their ETF markets. This shows that as a market, we have come a long way and should be proud of ourselves.
So globally, we've seen that financial markets are evolving. We're seeing a lot of products coming up, ETFs, CDFs, REITs, and things like that. But it's also encouraging that Zimbabwe has caught up with this trend in terms of developments, especially on the stock market. We've seen the move from the manual systems to automated trading and things like that. We've also seen retail online share trading. Of course, we now have C-Trade, ZTC Direct. So these initiate. So we feel that the Morgan & Co. multi-sector ETF is actually coming at the right time when all these developments are happening. Basically, what an ETF is, it's a basket of securities that trade on an exchange, just like any other stock. So it's indeed a cheaper way of getting access to a wide array of stocks and sectors. So it makes it a very relevant product for retail as well as institutional investors. So the question is always, are we there yet in terms of developments, in terms of innovation? I think there's been a lot of advancements, which is good, new products coming up, but we feel there's still room for development in terms of deepening our local capital markets. We feel that there's room to introduce more ETFs on different investment themes, special situations, and things like that.
So I think it's a good start to 2022 that we are coming out of our shell, and I think it's also a challenge to the rest of the players that you need to be seen, but that's really is. It also brings with it, I think, a lot of pressure that you must stay in front. Because like you said, certainly I think with the ZSC they've got a lot of innovations. They want to make the market as accessible to just about everyone everywhere, with as much ease as possible. And ETFs, I think, are part of that. But as you discover in the coming months, that certainly there's going to be more innovation. People are going to learn from your mistakes, and I guess that's a good thing as well. Okay, in that it also gives you time to reflect on your own product. So the ETFs themselves, I'll give credit, I guess, to the market players. It's something that we've always been criticized that this market is only known for shares, and when you talk of shares, you lose a lot of people's interest. They're not really, maybe it's for the more seasoned investors who understand this. But when you start talking of products like ETFs, you are now, I think, going into a space where it's much easier to explain to people. I think Badana said that, in a very simple words, how we explain this to a person. I think it's going to be that simple going forward. And I know that in the Securities and Exchange Commission, our thrust is investor education, deepening the market, getting more people involved, and speaking to them through ETFs, I think is a much easier way of doing it.
On the investing side, our local markets experienced another exciting year as most investors made some good returns. The year 2022 is set to be another interesting year for market participants, given the launch of the Morgan & Co. Multi-Sector Exchange Traded Fund, which speaks to both institutional and retail investors. We have seen the growth of exchange-traded funds with total global ETF assets estimated at approximately 9.5 trillion US dollars. Today's event will see the listing of Zimbabwe's first actively managed ETF. Some of the key features of the Morgan & Co. Multi-Sector Exchange-Traded Fund are: 1. Ease of access. The fund will be listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, and therefore units can be bought or sold through any stockbroker throughout the trading day and through online trading platforms for retail investors. The relatively low cost efficient. Generally, ETFs attract lower fees as compared to traditional managed funds, as well as single stock investments. Polio. Overall, retail and institutional investors will have access to a fund whose portfolio composition is constructed according to a proven proprietary model which aims for long-term capital appreciation and primarily focuses on future growth prospects. The stock selection process is based on a proven proprietary model that has been developed by the Morgan & Co. research team. In conclusion, I have no doubt that the Morgan & Co. Multi-Sector Exchange-Traded Fund presents a unique investment proposition for investors in the medium to long term. Morgan & Co. has indeed been at the forefront of financial innovation and capital markets development. The group facilitates access to international capital and skills, operating with partners who share the same vision of quality, innovation, and integrity. An approach best summed up in the motto, "Our word is our bond."